Bigfoot, also referred to as Sasquatch, is a large creature said to live in forests. Most sightings have occurred in the Pacific Northwest. Bigfoot is described as a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid. The most stifling situation that can ensue from this subject is for the study of the existence and nature of Sasquatch to be reduced to an argument between believers and skeptics.
Rather than considering the Sasquatch as some uniquely extraordinary apparition, it is much more productive to identify those features it appears to bear in common with other organisms. In what ways is it consistent with our knowledge of the evolution, natural history, and biogeography of primates on the one hand, and with known wildlife in North America on the other? There are many original theories of the Sasquatch across cultures. These include the creature Grendel from Beowulf, Native American tribes, the Indonesian orange pendek, Mongolian elmas, and Chinese Yurin. Both Beowulf and Gilgamesh involved a sort of wild man figure. Grendel and Enkidu were man-like beings born in the wilderness. The Bigfoot figure is common in the folklore of most Northwest Native American tribes. Native American Bigfoot legends usually describe the creatures as around 6 to 9 feet tall, very strong, hairy, uncivilized, and often foul-smelling, usually living in the woods and often foraging at night. Native American Bigfoot creatures are almost always said to be unable to speak human languages, using whistles, grunts, and gestures to communicate with each other. Persistent rumors of unrecognized apes or less conventional wild men continued to emerge from forested mountain regions all over the world, such as Mongolia, Indonesia, China, the U.S., and Canada.
Cryptozoology is the study or search for animals whose existence is questioned. Cryptozoology has gained increasing legitimacy in recent years. Both the okapi and Komodo dragon are examples of animals that were once considered cryptids but were then discovered to exist.
Diverse evidence involving cryptozoology has been and continues to be scrutinized by experts from various scientific disciplines, including paleontologists, primatologists, anthropologists, forensic examiners, image analysts, biomechanists, naturalists, trackers, animators, kinesiologists, statisticians, and molecular biologists.
The Yeti is reportedly smaller and more ape-like than the Sasquatch, with a footprint that exhibits a divergent big toe, while the Sasquatch is much larger, more human-like in posture, and has a footprint with the big toe aligned with the others. On November 8, 1951, British mountain climber Eric Shipton, while on his 5th visit to Mount Everest, came across the tracks that would become the most famous Yeti footprints ever found and photographed. This photo compares the Yeti footprint to that of a human, left, and gorilla, right.
Gigantopithecus and Homo erectus fossils found in cave deposits in southern China and Vietnam attest that they overlapped in temporal and geographical range. Bergman's rule is a principle that states that within a broadly distributed taxonomic clade, populations and species of larger size are found in colder environments and species of smaller size are found in warmer regions. This is relevant when describing an ape's path over continents. A trend for increased body size, thick tooth enamel, and exploitation of terrestrial habits would conceivably have permitted it to extend its range into more northerly latitudes and better cope with cooler temperatures and more seasonal forest forage spanning across the periodic land bridge between Asia and North America, while its smaller ape cohorts were restricted to tropical forests.
The most famous proof of Sasquatch is in the 1967 Patterson-Gimlin film. For this Sasquatch to be fake, the unusually large man would require a minimum 10-hour makeup job, and the hair would have to be applied directly to skin. Dr. Don Grieve analyzed the creature's movements on the film and concluded that its legitimacy depended on what speed it was shot. If it was filmed at 16 frames per second, it walked like a man. But if it was taken at 245 frames per second, it did not walk like a man. No one knows precisely what speed it was shot at. After this video, the supposed measurements of the beast were compared to those of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's clear that even the measurements of an outstanding human don't come close to the creature on film. In the past, there have been several independent analyses of hair attributed to Sasquatch, more often than not conducted at the request of an amateur investigator. In non-primate mammals, the hair is differentiated into 3 types. 1. Longer, coarser guard hairs which provide mechanical protection. 2. A finer undercoat of fur hairs which provide insulation. And 3. Stiff, visible whiskers which serve as tactile organs. Primate hair is generally undifferentiated and has been described as possessing a modified combination of the characteristics of guard hairs and undercoat hairs. In a study done by Brian C. Sykes titled Genetic Analysis of Hair Samples Attributed to Yeti, Bigfoot, and Other Anomalous Primates, only 2 of the 30 hair samples submitted and analyzed returned a sequence that could be matched with an extant mammalian species. Morphologically, the hair evidence remains elusive and must become a focus for future endeavors.
There are multiple prominent scientists who believe that the scientific study of Bigfoot should be taken seriously. These include Dr. Jane Goodall and Dr. Grover S. Krantz. Dr. Krantz is an anthropologist who traveled to Russia and China to look into stories of a large bipedal ape.
As the shrinking tropical habitats of the known apes have brought to public consciousness the stewardship we bear for the distant tropical environment and its imperiled coin habitats, so might the recognition of Sasquatch sharpen our sense of responsibility for our own temperature habitats and bring into finer resolution our connection to wild places. Neither side, either for or against the existence of Sasquatch, will win their case unless a Sasquatch fossil or specimen is discovered, or there is a confession made from people posing as the Sasquatch.
The pervasive sightings and notable correlations of consistent anatomy, behavior, and vocalization also point to a real animal, one that displays remarkable parallels to known great apes while exhibiting unique characteristics appropriate to its particular ecology. The deeply rooted cultural and historical knowledge of a hairy wild man possessed by indigenous populations attests to a zoological entity. Primates on the one hand.
Okay, also, you keep moving your arm.
I know, I noticed that.
You're gonna have to edit that one.